When the U.S. announced plans to create a Bitcoin strategic reserve rather than a cryptocurrency reserve, it caused a stir. This, of course, brought up a big question. Why not use something like XRP instead of Bitcoin? I'm delving into that exact query in today's video and dissecting two important ideas: the real technological distinctions between these protocols and what the authorities may perceive in Bitcoin. Are you sick of phony gurus who pretend to be knowledgeable traders but never engage in live trading? I trade live on the second biggest cryptocurrency exchange, where results are unfaked and everything is clear. Anyone who wants to comprehend not only the government's viewpoint but also the more intricate technological mechanisms that distinguish Bitcoin and XRP should listen to this crucial conversation. You're in for a treat if you've ever wondered how the XRP ledger technology operates or why Bitcoin continues to garner attention. Prepare to learn new things and get perspectives that most people would never consider. This video will help you gain a deeper grasp of cryptocurrency. Let me clarify a few things before I begin this video. I've observed that some individuals see the idea of a strategic reserve for Bitcoin negatively. It's not, I assure you, not even close. This is actually a huge victory for the whole Bitcoin market. I firmly think that this action paves the way for future increases in cryptocurrency reserves. This is the offer. This was probably viewed as a stepping stone by the U.S. government. Perhaps it was too soon to dive into a full-fledged cryptocurrency reserve. Thus, they began with Bitcoin, most likely because it is the most well-established and unlikely to provoke significant opposition. It's a well-thought-out move. Let me clarify now. My interest in this decision-making process does not imply that I believe errors were made or that this was a poor choice. Not at all. I'm just sincerely interested in learning the reasoning behind concentrating only on Bitcoin. Because, let's be honest, this choice is revolutionary. And it's even more thrilling when you know why. I agree with some of the issues, but I believe others require more investigation. Considering Bitcoin to be completely distinct from other cryptocurrencies is one concept that undoubtedly needs further consideration. Suggesting that the U.S. should have a reserve of Bitcoin in addition to a larger cryptocurrency stockpile seems to me like suggesting that they should have separate reserves for apples and fruit. Isn't it redundant? Instead of dividing up the precious fruit for no apparent reason, why not just store it all in one location? Here's where I depart from a lot of the market's viewpoint. Bitcoin isn't essentially any different from other cryptocurrencies, in my opinion. Indeed, it stands out due to its distinctive features, similar to its widely dispersed token supply. Fundamentally, though, it remains a component of the broader crypto economy. Nevertheless, when compared to other protocols, such qualities do make Bitcoin a great reserve asset. Does it, however, merit its own category? I'm not entirely sure. This doesn't, in my opinion, substantially distinguish Bitcoin from other cryptocurrencies. After all, distribution is a short-term game. All tokens will eventually be fully distributed, at least those connected to robust protocols. Even while this argument is somewhat persuasive right now, it will not hold up over time. Patterns of distribution are continually evolving. As promised from the start, Ripple may lower its concentration of XRP, yet one entity may wind up owning a sizable portion of Bitcoin. The dynamics are constantly changing. That's what makes the cryptocurrency world so intriguing. Bitcoin and XRP took somewhat distinct approaches to token distribution. Bitcoin has a straightforward idea. Anyone might get some Bitcoin for free by jumping in early. The objective? Rapid and extensive dissemination. Even if this was successful in getting Bitcoin into the hands of a large number of individuals, it failed in one crucial area, reaching the appropriate people. The powerful individuals who may propel the adoption of Bitcoin are only now becoming interested, let's face it. However, the majority of the stock has already been taken. XRP went in a different direction. Let's make this open so anyone can access it, but let's also make sure we distribute it strategically to people who can make a real impact. This was the idea behind its creation. To make sure that there is still enough XRP available for people who can make a difference as the network expands, they intended to set aside sizable amounts for the future. It's not like we're saying, sorry, it's too late, all the tokens are gone, to someone who wants to become a major holder of XRP. In contrast to Bitcoin, which, I joke, gave tokens ahead of time to the tech-savvy people who discovered it first, the XRP ledger adopted a more progressive stance, because it was created with the future in mind. Systemically important governments and financial institutions won't be excluded because everything has already been dispersed when they ultimately need access to sizable allocations. XRP guarantees a place at the table for those who will be most important in the future by reserving a portion of the supply. One of the most noticeable distinctions is that. However, we should also discuss the origins of these networks. The idea of segregating a reserve for Bitcoin from a reserve for other cryptocurrencies is something I frequently argue against, particularly in light of David Sacks's statement that Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency without an issuer. How it got here is absolutely a mystery to us. That sentence always seems a little ridiculous to me. We seem to be romanticizing the beginnings of Bitcoin while neglecting the intricacies of how these systems truly develop. I'm compelled to counter that reasoning. Consider it. Bitcoin and the XRP ledger began similarly. A team of individuals came together to create something novel. The origins of both networks may be traced back to the people who generated the code, launched it, and established a public network. Here's the magic, though. Decentralization occurred over time. Not only did Bitcoin decentralize, but the XRP ledger did as well. Both are now completely decentralized networks. Why, therefore, do some people maintain that the history of Bitcoin is so very different? In actuality, all protocols start similarly. Centralized teams build the framework, publish the code, and make it publicly available. Decentralization gains traction through increased adoption and engagement. The actual distinction? Bitcoin's enigmatic founder, Satoshi, disappeared into thin air, allowing us to speculate as to their identity. That's all. Beyond that, the XRP ledger and Bitcoin follow quite similar routes. What makes this even an argument, then? The decentralization narrative is not exclusive to any one network. It is a collective progress. I have a different opinion, but let's put it aside for now. In the end, it wouldn't make a difference to know who Satoshi is. It would be identical to the process used to establish the XRP ledger. To be honest, it seems a little ridiculous to suggest that Satoshi's anonymity is a prerequisite for Bitcoin's legitimacy, as though it were a final endorsement of the network. Let's move on to the actual discussion, though, the one that really excites everyone. It's all about token distribution, not merely how the XRP ledger or Bitcoin was created. The hot button issue is that critics point out that Ripple began with a huge quantity of tokens, which they then gave to important participants selectively. In contrast, miners sell Bitcoin's tokens on the open market to distribute them. The main point of contention is right there. The procedure differs when it comes to token distribution. Whereas Bitcoin depends on miners to distribute XRP to the market, Ripple does so directly. Here's the worst part, though. The network's fundamental operation is unaffected by this discrepancy. There are just two different methods for putting tokens into circulation. Profit is the driving force behind miners' stockpiling and eventual sale of Bitcoin. In contrast, Ripple has a well-defined plan and distributes XRP coins to financial institutions that genuinely require them. Aligning tokens with their purpose is more important than simply dumping them. However, a lot of people focus more on this distribution technique than the protocol's true decentralization. Anyone willing to mine could earn tokens thanks to Bitcoin's proof-of-work scheme, which increased accessibility. However, there is a price. The Bitcoin network was severely taxed by this intricate system, which significantly reduced its scalability. The network has to deal with a heavy computational load each time a consensus is obtained or new tokens are created. The outcome? A sophisticated yet ineffective system that resulted from its own distribution strategy. Although gaining widespread access to Bitcoin is a fantastic accomplishment, scaling the technology remains a significant obstacle. Ripple examined this problem and adopted a different strategy. What is their philosophy? Ignore the excessively difficult token distribution procedure. Rather, they concentrated on distributing coins to the appropriate recipients and giving the decentralization of the underlying protocol priority. Ripple's answer was audacious. Give up on intricacy and strive for efficiency and quickness. The concept was straightforward. The token supply would eventually be decentralized and widely distributed. Therefore, why continuously impose the resource-intensive, slow proof-of-work mechanism on the network? Although helpful for equitable distribution, such a system produces inefficiencies that conflict with the chain's main objective. Moving value from point A to point B with ease is the network's main objective. However, the network ends up restricting itself by incorporating a technique such as proof-of-work, which puts distribution ahead of scalability. It's like putting a permanent speed bump on a smooth-traveling freeway. According to Ripple, concentrating too much on equitable distribution, a pressing concern, compromises the long-term goal. When all the tokens are eventually issued, Bitcoin will still be subject to proof-of-work, a mechanism that impedes the very innovation it aims to accomplish. I'm not sure if I completely concur with that viewpoint. The person with the most mining power and electricity seems to end up with the most Bitcoin. Is that fair? I'm not here to argue, but perhaps some people think that way. The fact that this is only a temporary stage is more important. Every network begins centrally. Consider Bitcoin. Its main goal was to give tokens to as many people as it could. In contrast, Ripple retains a portion of the tokens and disperses them in strategic locations to maximize their impact. By eliminating the onerous load of proof of work that may drag the chain down indefinitely, Ripple maintains the lightning-fast efficiency of the XRP ledger. Although it takes a different approach, it is long-lasting. This is the secret to understanding this central claim. Consider the wider picture. You risk missing the important things if you're preoccupied with the specifics of token distribution versus network decentralization. Why are these networks so important for the future? Although there is a lot to process, you will discover why the XRP ledger differs from Bitcoin if you grasp these fundamental ideas. They were purposefully created in a distinct way from the beginning to address Bitcoin's initial scalability and distribution issues. Thank you for listening. I hope this update was useful to you.